And our absolutely gorgeous guest for the day looks stunning. Tamira is a good friend of ours. She's been hanging out with us at Happy Hour for a long time, so like long-time friend. She's a magnificent beauty blogger, mentor to many, many beauty bloggers, and she's just all around amazing marketer, stellar person. And I cannot think of a better guest to kick us off on, like, the first guest on the Happy Hour podcast ever. Yeah, so welcome, Tamira. You look absolutely gorgeous right now.
Well, thank you. I figured if we would be live, I should probably look like a beauty blogger because a lot of days I don't.
Well, I wish we had like some sound effects, like, some celebration, or because Tamira, I know you have, we've worked together for a while now. You've been one of our star students and clients, and there's been an ongoing joke about being a guest on the show, and we've never had a guest. So when we decided to do this platform, both of us immediately were like, we're bringing Tamira on first. So it's kind of like, yay!
Well, it's so cool because I was because I was just telling Dawn I just got back literally like at midnight last night from Connecticut on business. And so I downloaded and listened to a bunch of your podcasts, of course. And there was an episode where Dawn was talking about having her friend, I think, who's writing a book, as a guest. And I was like secretly like, oh my God, they're having guests. I hope I get to be on. And then I wake up and this happens. It's so awesome.
Well, we are super, super excited that you could be here. And one of the things, Tamira, that really impresses me about the marketing that you're doing right now is you're super consistent. I don't know very many people in marketing who are as consistent as you are. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you just like are constantly able to bombard your every feed that you have with information and awesome information?
Well, it didn't happen overnight. That's for sure. I've been, like you said, bombarding the market for about 2.5 years. And so you kind of build it up on one platform and it gets, let it build and get stabilized. And then you can just, kind of evergreen strategy and then just drop in newer content. So I've always done more of a bullseye approach with social media, whereas Facebook is really kind of my hub for everything. It's like my main boo. It's my number one boo. Because I do feel, until Periscope, that it's the number one way for people to really get to know, like, trust, and remember you. So that, and then you have Facebook come in and they buy Instagram, and I got a very strong presence in growing on Instagram. So I work those two together. And then now I've really been refocused on Twitter, because I had been for a while, and I actually was giving my main boo some of the credit for, the revenue that was coming from Twitter, because I didn't know it until recently. And so working with you guys in implementing tools like Social Oomph, where I'm using automation and in the Hootsuite to really help with Twitter, it allows me to be able to, because I'll be honest, all of my Facebook is manual.
No, it's all good. And so, hey, Tracy, I kind of jumped ahead with Tamira a bit. I was like, hey, how do you stay so consistent? But like, let's get a little bit of background on Tamira. Like, Tamira, if you could maybe tell us a little bit about, I clearly have never interviewed a guest. Full disclosure. We're learning a lot as we go here. Like, Tamira, tell me how you do it. I'm so impressed. I'm taking notes. Oh my gosh. Slow down. Slow the heck down.
Well, 646 episodes.
So it's all good. It's all good.
Yes.
A little bit of my background. Basically, I'm a beauty blogger. I blog about the business of beauty. That's my unique value proposition, is really working with makeup artists and other beauty bloggers to increase their social media presence, as well as be able to self-monetize their blogging and their social media. That's my whole thing. Like there's a big Periscoper, and that's her tagline is monetize thyself. And the first time I heard that, I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because what you find is a lot of beauty bloggers, beauty advisors, they're really good at their craft. And I will never say like I am the best. I'm not even comfortable calling myself a makeup artist. I didn't go to school for that. I never studied cosmetology. It's just my crack, okay? So I love it. And what I find though is a lot of people in the industry, they don't quite know how to market themselves. They don't know how to monetize and implement strategies to allow them to monetize and drive traffic and boost. Yeah, I got tongue-tied there. Boost conversions. So that's really my background. I've been doing this about 2.5 years. Before that, I've definitely been in sales and marketing, over almost 24 years now. That's a little embarrassing to say, date myself. But I've just always been very passionate about sales and marketing. I knew in high school it's what I wanted to do. And I have to say, there is no better time than now to be able to, whatever your passion is, be able to make a business out of it and create an income stream for yourself. There's just no better time than now, because I got my undergraduate degree in marketing. When I graduated, I think my oldest daughter was 4. Shortly after, I got pregnant with my second daughter. And I was telling someone on the plane this last night that, because he was saying he hopes his daughter goes into sales and marketing. And I'm like, I'm really excited that mine is, even though it's more of a back end function. She loves it. And it's because when I got out of school, one of the things she likes about it is her income, her check. She gets a healthy check to not have completed her bachelor's yet. And when I got out of school, I was definitely afraid of sales at that point, but that was the only thing you could get with an undergraduate degree in marketing in the area of southeastern Wisconsin, where I live. Now I full on do marketing, strategy, budgeting, everything that I would have loved to be able to do with my degree that I got 20 some years ago. And so there's no better time than now than to take whatever it is that you're passionate about and be able to monetize that. Maybe I got a little off topic. I'm sorry.
No, Tamira, I fully agree. Don't you, Tracy? Like that now is such a great time.
It is. It's a really exciting time, and I know one of the things Dawn and I are. It's almost like we're obsessed with. Like we can look at anything and create marketing plans or a sales funnel, or Dawn is all about automation, and I'm always looking at ways to create a marketing campaign around it. And so it's really exciting when you see someone like yourself, who you have such a passion for beauty, to be able to take it and monetize. Really amazing is that you essentially took the whole concept of content curation and you've built your business around content curation. And a lot of times people think that they have to constantly be coming up with original content for social media or original blog posts or original, all these different things. But what you've done is you've nailed it. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you start by content creation over in Instagram? Isn't that where it really
yes,
everything kind of came together for you?
2 years ago, my strategy with Instagram was content curation. In the last 12 months, creation. In the last 12 months, I've definitely switched over to curation because Instagram, I finally got Instagram in that it's like a magazine. And so they don't want to see pictures of my food. Sometimes they want to see pictures of my grandson, but not all that often. It's not about me, it's about having that magazine feel. So it's definitely a lot more content curation. But I have found that because I've built such a big audience now, they do want to see my face from time to time. So I try to keep within that 9 photo span that's important on Instagram, a picture of me. And sometimes it's evergreen. Not because I don't always look like a beauty blogger.
Tamira, what do you think about, I was on Michael O'Neill's Solopreneur Hour podcast yesterday, and we were having a discussion about how crowded the marketplace is right now, like how everybody is doing a podcast, or well, not podcast so much, but everybody's doing webinars and everybody's doing workshops, and everybody's like, look at me, and your newsfeed is just hammered by every single day new people coming out. Like, how do you deal with the noise and how do you overcome that? Like, what have you done? Because I know you do a really good job.
Excellent point. Because beauty has just been like, the beauty market, especially on Instagram, is very, very crowded. And so what it really boils down to, and it's funny because I was listening to another podcast when I was out east yesterday morning, and he talked about originality being king. I don't 100% agree that originality is like the absolute last trump card, but I do think it is very important. So to answer that question directly, I think often, I used to think in sound bites. Now I think in Instagram quotes, because That's part of what Instagram is. And there's a quote that says something to the effect of, it doesn't matter how many people are doing it, nobody can do it the way that you do it. Nobody can bring to it what you bring to it. I know of no one else who says they're a beauty blogger. They blog about the business of beauty. No one else is taking that unique proposition that I have taken with it. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best at it. I have no choice but to be the best at it, because as far as I know, I'm the only one at it. And so that's what I think it's about. It's about, where I come from, there's a term in the vernacular. It says, get in where you fit in. And that's exactly what you have to do. You have to figure out, what is it that you uniquely bring to the table? What is it that you uniquely provide in terms of value to your customers? And in 2015, I set out with the goal of really growing my tribe. And my tribe grew like crazy within the first quarter alone. And that's really what it's about, is finding your tribe, defining your ideal customer avatar, and speaking to their pain points. And now, more so in Facebook, you can't focus on pain points. You got to focus on joy points and the final destination where you're taking them, that transformative process and the actual results of that transformation. And that's what cuts out through the newsfeed. You want to be that person that when I see something from the social media marketing happy hour and it shows up in my newsfeed, I'm paying attention to it. And that's what you want to create with your customers. Facebook is allowing you to get notifications and put things at the top of your newsfeed. Your goal is to be that for your tribe, that they're choosing to put you at the top of their newsfeed, and they're selecting and saying to whatever social media platform, when this person puts out content, I want it. And that's what you want to create.
Beautiful.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, you do such a great job of it. I see your stuff because, full disclosure, I am a customer of Tamira's. She helps me with all of my beauty needs. And so when I see Tamira putting content, whether it's curated or not, I know it's going to be amazing because you do such a good job of talking to your avatar, right? Like, you're always making sure that the content that you are putting out is so highly relevant. And so when I see that, that your contouring stuff comes out, I'm like, I'm going to need to click on that link because I need more.
What I found, though, is a lot of my tribe, they're actually intimidated by that content because, we're not as young as those girls. We've got more fine lines, whatever the case. They're just not comfortable. They enjoy that content, but they want that one-to-one marketing experience. They want somebody who looks like them, who's walked in their shoes, who's experienced similar experiences in life that they have, to interpret it for them. They know that when they come to my Instagram versus all these other Instagrams, I'm going to have narrowed down all of that noise that's out there to what's most relevant and pertinent to them, so they can come and get that one-stop shopping experience. And that's what you want to create.
And don't you think so many people are afraid to niche down to that point? They're afraid they're going to miss out on something. And, I talked about it on last week's episode when I was sharing about the woman with essential oils, and I found her because of my husband's experience with MRSA. It was so niche down, and I'm not, and sometimes you can go too small, right? You can go too small where there's not an opportunity, but I think there's really a value to it. And I'm doing some consulting with a friend of mine. Dawn knows the story. I'm always using this stuff, right? My lotion. And, we were talking about creating a specific product line for nurses, because she's in nursing school, and there's this whole big thing about dry hands and all that. And it's easy to target everybody, but if you go into a niche, it's totally different. The marketing message is different. The content you create is different. It's better. And I think, Tamira, that's what you do so well, is you know exactly who you're talking to. So there's no one's confused.
Yeah, I think for many people, what happens is it's almost like this you go from really excited when you start to almost this desperation. Like, I got to do it. And that's when you think you got to talk to everybody. And what I tell people is, when you're talking to everybody, you're talking to no one, because nobody's grabbing on to that information because you haven't struck them. You haven't. And now it's down to 3 seconds. You've got 3 seconds to catch people's attention. So you really have to know who you're talking to, who you're targeting, and what to say to them. But when you're talking to everybody, you're talking to no one. No one hears you. And you know, there's a big guru, and I think he's right on this. It's a very, very noisy world, and you've got to figure out how to stand out in that noisy world. And that is by giving really great content, but it needs to be solving people's pain points. It has to solve a pain point.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, Tamira. And I think, you know, when you think about this permission-based marketing is the type of marketing that we do, right? We want to come up beside people and join the conversation that they're already having. Like, talk to them about situations that they're aware of, that they're aware that they already have that problem, versus like making them aware of something that didn't really exist before. It's more about showing them, like putting up a mirror and saying, look, this is what you've got going on right now. Well, let me show you a little solution, and leading down that path gently, as opposed to interrupting them and being like, pow, buy my stuff, right? Like, that's just like the old commercial advertising model. It still works if you're a big national brand, but most entrepreneurs don't have that kind of cash flow to support it.
I love Periscope, and I'm not on it as much as I used to be, just because I'm very, very busy. But, you know, if you were going to create content now, and you wanted to put a content creation strategy in place, I would say video is the way to go, because it, for one, is hands down the absolute best way to build a tribe, and a big tribe, very, very quickly. Now, I'm not on the mindset that you have to go for volume. It's definitely a market right now of quality over quantity, but content creation, to know what your audience, what your ideal customer avatar wants, there's no better way to spy on them. That's the most absolute amazing thing to me when I think about like focus groups and Mad Men and Procter and Gamble back in the day. You can spy on your avatar so easily. I mean, people are literally creating the course as they go along because they're getting that immediate feedback. And by allowing people to be a part of that process, what you find is they are very invested, and they will buy and promote and help you get. I mean, like, there's